Welcome back to Triton Cup number 50. We're going into delving into losers bracket here, watching the players that ask the pivotal question, who up with their worm, playing against No Mercy. I'm Matt, are you excited?
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one for sure. We have a set map list, counterpicks are no more, and that's gonna allow us to move just a little bit more quickly. So we're gonna be watching first up on Splat Zone's Undertow. I know we watched this map a little bit earlier in this tournament. I believe Who Up With They Worm was on it, fighting against I think ASC Tenchi. I can't quite remember, but I know that it's a double zones map, which is always interesting to see.
Yeah, once you get knocked down to the loser bracket, you lose all your map choosing privileges, and so you're gonna be stuck with the three that we're gonna be picking for you. And Undertow is that first one. Not one of my personal favorites, but it is a pretty decent map for sure.
It's definitely decent. It just plays so much differently from the other ones. Like, you can stall out the zone timer so easily. With the other maps, as long as you're pushed like even a little bit ahead of the zone, you know, you're gonna be really in control. It's gonna be ticking down. But on a double zones map, if there's even one member basically still on the zones, it's going to be stalled. You're not going to be ticking down, and that can definitely come into play during overtime where you're not allowed to have the zone stalled for so long, or the game just ends. But we're going to see how these teams interact with it as we go right into it, see what they're running, etc., etc.
Yeah, absolutely. This map gives me so much Black Belly Skate Park vibes. And is that a 3-splash once again? Oh, one of them's a Neo. That's okay.
Same thing.
That's better. Yeah,
just a little bit. From the other team, we see a Carbon Roller along with a T-Tech and a Machine and a Splash. So these teams are, Who Up With They Worm is much more homogenous, but No Mercy has some tricks up their sleeves. We're gonna maybe see that Carbon do some work if they don't go immediately down like they just did.
Yeah, this map is tough if you're like a Carbon or a Roller of some sort, but once you can get in, it's going to be incredibly hard for them to get them out. It's just the choke point is rough to get through.
Yeah, No Mercy already taking a very small early lead away from Who Up With They Worm. Kind of playing around, getting into Who Up With They Worm spawn just a tiny little bit, not pushing too far ahead, being still a little bit careful. It's still really early in the game after all. But they are going to go 2 down. The Tri-Strikes are going to push some players off the zone, and Who Up With They Worm is going to get control once again with 3 down on the side of No Mercy. Only that T-Tech who just jumped out left on the field.
And Who Up With Their Worm is going to be pushing up pretty far now. With the 3 down, they have just some free space to work with, and they're pretty much going to just be taking over all of the front of zone, even up into No Mercy's snipe area. You do see the Tri-Strike coming out just trying to contest that zone a bit, along with the Crab, but it looks like they're still holding pretty strong. They are taking that lead.
Yeah, 2 down once again on the side of No Mercy, meaning Who Up With They Worm has the time to continue this push and keep it going. T-Tech on the snipe going to be able to take out Prophet, who dared to walk forward, and the Tri-Strikes are going to push the members of Who Up With They Worm out. They are currently 2 down, they are respawning right now, but that does give time for No Mercy to move ahead and try to take away at their penalty and get their lead back once again.
We see an early Booyah Bomb pop, but the Tri-Strike and the Crab Tank is on hold for Who Up With Their Worm, and they are ready to go. No Mercy is pushed out, just trying to keep them out, but with the Crab Tank, they're going to have to watch where they're standing. It's going to be looking for blood here. But the Carbon, they were not expecting the Carbon to come around, getting 2 before they go down.
Yeah, very, very sneaky play. That's exactly how you love to see Carbon being played. It's very exciting to watch. But what's also exciting to watch is to see how No Mercy is super, super close to getting their lead back. There is some contestation on the zone, but they're only about 5 points away here, and we're going to see this takedown really, really rapidly. Looks like No Mercy does steal the lead away from Who Up With Their Worm, and now, it's once again their job to take it back. But the Crab Tank coming out, it might help them, but there's Crab Tanks on both sides of the field. Currently, the zone is neutralized, like we were saying, meaning that we're not going to be seeing much happen here other than a lot of scrapping.
The Crab was trying to find a pick there, but once again did not expect the Carbon to the face, just absolutely shredded him before going down. And so far, No Mercy is still in a pretty good control. That Tri-Strike is going to flip the zone, and they're just looking for the last 2 remaining players.
Last 2 remaining players are getting kind of cornered by Pelu and IPS. Pelu here getting 1, looking for the second, which they are currently still fighting to get. Oh, that's going to be basically a delayed triple here. Going to get the jump getting taken in here. And they're also, looks like Who Up With Their Worm is really close to getting this lead back. And with only the machine left on the field, holding on to that Booyah Bomb for dear life, it's going to look like it's a pretty assured lead flip once again.
Yeah, that jump pick was a very unfortunate for No Mercy. That's going to stagger them up just a bit, leave them without specials for a little bit longer. They get a nice pick with the Booyah Bomb, and the Tri-Strike is coming out. But we'll have to see if they're able to take back that zone. Who Up With Their Worm did bring it down to 16 points. While not a far lead, with 42 penalty points, that is going to be quite a bit to get through.
Yeah, and we are approaching rapidly the last minute of this game, and an overtime win is very, very hard to take on this map. So whoever is going to be able to, get the control for this last minute is basically going to be in a good spot to get ahead. It looks like No Mercy is going to be able to get a sustained push going here with that Carbon Roller getting up pretty far, going to be stopping players pretty aggressively here as they shark underneath their drop here. No Mercy, or who are playing with their worm though, having a lot of specials in store to be able to break out. They still have a little bit of time before the lead swaps yet again, but it is looking very rough.
Yeah, No Mercy expended quite a bit of their specials pretty early on just to push them back and be able to get them out of the zone. And so far they've been doing an excellent job of just getting in 1 or 2 picks to keep them off balance. And now with 2 members down, they are able to take back that lead. 20 seconds and 8 points. It looks like they're going to hold on to it.
And that's going to be the KO from No Mercy here. Very close game, very, very back and forth, but No Mercy is able to scrape out a victory here in the last little bit.
I think your point earlier was on point, but they were able to hold on to it, and they didn't allow it to go into overtime. So once they took back that lead, that just was able to solidify the game because they didn't really want it to stall out with that double zone.
Even if they were, Who Up With Their Worm was able to take it back a little bit and able to force an overtime, like I said, an overtime on Undertow or on Flounder or on Umami, any of these double zones maps is going to be really hard just because of how much space you have to control really tightly. Basically, you can neutralize a zone with basically 2 burst bombs, and if it's sustained here, it is what it is. But it looks like everyone's vacating the room. Okay, connection error. Okay, we're switching hosts here, so there's going to be a little bit more, but we can talk about that matchup a bit more and just how close it was that entire game.
Now we did see the double, the V-Splash and Neo Splash, as well as that bucket. That seems to be a pretty solid pick here, but then the Carbon Roller was again another curveball at them, and it seemed to have been working pretty well. It was right up when they were popping crab. It was able to take out those crab users, and although they did take some trades in the process, they were doing an excellent job of just sharking and putting on the pressure. There was no safe spot for them to touch down.
Yeah, the playstyle of Carbon is much different than what we see a lot of the time with just shooters and more players that play more back. Has to get really far in there and play really stealthy compared to a lot of other weapons to get value, but they did it in very well. It's a very fun playstyle to watch when executed properly. But we are going to be switching maps here. We're going to be going to Scorch Gorge zones, and this is definitely another really interesting map that we don't see too often in normal tournament map lists.
Indeed, I am curious to see if they choose to stick with that Carbon. It certainly has some nice spots they can set up on, but at the same time, it is a pretty open map compared to what we saw in the last one.
It's very, very open. It has a zone the size of Texas, and also it's very hard to initiate a lockout here. Getting out of mid is a massive ordeal. You can sit in mid all you want, but getting across those grates to the enemy's plat is something that you can only really do if you get something like a wipeout or a 3 down or something like that. It's a massive advantage on the field, which is just kind of very difficult, especially when you're as evenly matched as these teams are.
And there's really only one way to push up past where the zone drop is, and it is that one little grate. And as you said before, it will have to take at least 3 down for them to even attempt trying to walk that.
Yeah, it's rough, and you're so vulnerable, and it makes it really easy to flip. On one hand, it's easy to get mid control back in a sense because you can just drop, and you're not going to be locked out as aggressively as you are on other maps. On the other hand, the zone is so massive that it takes so long to paint in order to get control of it. But why keep talking about it? We're going to see as we are going to be going right into it real shortly.
I think on top of just the huge zone, the fact that it's not like open such as Eeltail Alley, there is that huge bit in the middle that is going to obstruct it, and it looks like we're going to be seeing no changes to either of these comps.
Yeah, crab tanks are going to be a massive advantage here, and already we're seeing the members of Who Up With Their Worm trying to charge those to get them on the field as soon as possible to get some semblance of an advantage. Not quite there yet, but I guarantee you we're going to see those very soon. First crab pop, second crab pop. Who Up With Their Worm has a pretty solid control of mid here as a matter of fact with those. But unfortunately, Prophet over there is going to get canceled with that tri-strike, and looks like it's very, very fast flipping over to No Mercy as they're taking their advantage. Carbon already trying to make the ballsy play and get up into their plat before falling and backing out just a little bit, but that is going to be the lead, the very fragile lead getting swaps.
Yeah, having that Carbon on the field, once again, they have to really watch their step when they're dropping, because it could be lurking pretty much anywhere, and it is a quick kill time if you fall right into the trap. And here we go, they drop, and there's the Carbon.
Oh, the Carbon pressuring that crab tank, making it where Jisha cannot move or feel comfortable having as much pressure over mid as they once did. The No Mercy here having a really solid control. This Carbon here sharking under the ledges, making it so they don't feel comfortable dropping, and they don't even need to be up on the plat to be having a massive impact here. This lock it's not quite a full lockout, but it's really basically the closest thing you can get on this map as you're going back to the 10-point marker. All 4 members of Who Up With Their Worm are up. Crab tanks are going out, but it looks like it may not be, well, 3 members of No Mercy down. Who Up With Their Worm scraping out a small advantage, giving themselves a second lease on life at the very last minute, but they are going to have to knock out if they're going to want to take this back at all.
That was such a clutch zone cap right there. No Mercy almost brought it from 0 to 100, or I'm sorry, 100 to 0 on that zone control, but they were able to bring it back, and as you said, they are going to have to get that knockout if they're going to want to take this match. But already No Mercy is moving in. The Ink Strike, the Ink Strike is coming in, just opening up space for the Carbon to just sneak in, and it's going to get a triple off of this.
Absolutely beautiful play from that Carbon, forcing 3 members down, and Prophet, the last one up, does have to jump out, and that's going to make the room for this Carbon to get up here and just kind of be a little bit of a nuisance for a bit. Crab tanks are going to come out and just try to, neutralize the zone and get a bit of control back in mid, but right now, Who Up With Their Worm is facing the situation that they were in earlier this game, where they're just locked out onto their plat, even if the members of No Mercy aren't on it either.
I think what they did there, like, you see the tri-strike coming out from Who Up With Their Worm, trying to just stall out that zone a bit, but they don't really have any room to follow up with, and that's kind of the big brain play, is just to follow up with the Ink Strike, as we saw that Carbon do, like, not just let it paint the zone for you, but be able to utilize it to get in, and they are eventually able to drop and start taking back that zone, but I still have some strong contention from No Mercy.
Painting back and forth. This beautiful quad there is going to seal the game for No Mercy in a very decisive fashion. This is a far cry from the close back and forth Undertow Spillway game that we just saw as we end the game with what's basically a double knockout.
Pretty much. No Mercy showing no mercy as they take this set 2-0.
Yeah, LSNN is going to be, out of the game here. They were on they've lost twice. That means they're out. And that means that we are going to be following, seeing how No Mercy does in the rest of losers. But for now, we are going to be taking a short break. We'll see y'all in just a few minutes.
Champions is going to be,
And that is game.
And that is lead!
Is the tournament.
Oh my god!
That's game. That was the anchor. Splatoon Stronghold, a stronghold for competitive Splatoon, providing resources to long-timers and newcomers alike. If you're new to the competitive scene or still figuring out how to join, we have a getting started guide and plenty of other resources to help you in your journey. If you are a seasoned veteran, we still have plenty to offer. You can find and join tournaments as well as participate in our Captain Forum and find free agents and teams. Our mission is to make competitive Splatoon easily accessible to everyone. So what are you waiting for? Join the Splatoon Stronghold today!